Hey everyone, this is Jax again from the Popcorn Review Podcast, and today we're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw, March 24th, 4 p.m. edition. So they are in another country, guys. So I think one more week or so, then they'll be back to the States with a normal start time of 8 p.m. Eastern. So again, 4 p.m. start time. This week kind of started off a little bit like last week. You had John Cena's music hit. The only difference, guys, is that this time around, the fans let John Cena know how they really feel. Start off with chants like John Cena sucks and fuck you, Cena, back to back to back. Um, Last week, it looks like the fans were about 50-50. Some people were cheering him, like I mentioned, some people were hating him. This time around, for sure, the fans are letting John Cena know how they feel about him. No cheering. And if you were cheering, guys, to be honest with you, they were drowned out by the amount of boos. And again, John Cena sucks. Fuck you, Cena. So for sure, guys, different this time around. John Cena did still have like a long segment or promo, about 15 minutes or so, blaming the fans, saying this is still your fault. You guys gave me, issues when I changed the title to the spinner belt, when I made a toy, whatever the case was. A lot of people didn't like the spinner belt. I personally wasn't a fan of that title design. I preferred the undisputed title and the big gold, but that's my opinion. A lot of people did like the spinner belt as well, so that's your taste, I guess. Um, John Cena even went to the effect saying, "Hey, I'm gonna make you guys forget about Ric Flair once I win my next championship." I personally don't see that happening. A lot of old heads love Ric Flair. A lot of guys who are wrestling now kind of mimic Ric Flair's style with the robes, with the gear, So I don't see that being the case. But his words are being put out there like, I'm going to ruin wrestling. I'm going to make you forget about Ric Flair. So that's where he's trying to go with it. Pretty much he's trying to erase Ric Flair from the WWE. I know WWE probably wants someone who's been homegrown with them to be able to break that title, so it makes sense to try to have John Cena do that. Um, I will say as well, I see him if Cena does win the title, he's probably going to change it to another spinner or his old school spinner that he had for the world title. So I definitely see that being the case. I still don't see Cody winning this. I feel like this is going to be John Cena like farewell tour and drive off into the sunset as champion. Probably relinquish it or something to that effect. I still see hopefully, Randy Orton's the one who takes the title from him because Ric Flair and Orton have a lot of history there. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, Ric Flair's also said that if anyone beats or breaks his record, he wants it to be Randy Orton. So it makes a lot of sense for Orton to take the title off of Cena. But that's my opinion. Again, um, don't see Cody winning. I wanted Cody to win the title. I feel like Cody's been kind of stale. Um, his matches haven't been great. I feel like it's the same thing over and over. He's the underdog in his own matches, which is kind of crazy. Um, Kind of the odds are always stacked up against him. I don't feel like he comes off strong until he wins, pretty much. Um, Cody did have a strong rebuttal or comments back to Cena this time around. Pretty much got in his face, said, "Hey, we're not going to wait till WrestleMania. Let's do it now." Ripped off his tie, ripped open his shirt, threw the title down, said, "Let's go." Cena blew on his knuckles like he's about to do something. Nothing happened. Looks back, just jumps out the ring, walks off. Cody pretty much calls him a bitch without saying it and says, "Hey, just remember, the champ isn't standing outside where you are no more. The champ is in here inside the ring." Pretty much using his own words against him. The champ is here. Cody just used his own phrase, his own catchphrase from back in the day, and threw it in his face. I still feel personally like Cody will lose this match. Again, this is my opinion, guys. You guys could have your own. I still feel like Cody's going to lose. you know, We still don't know what CM Punk's favor is from Paul Heyman, so that could play into effect here. Speaking about that, we do know that Roman, Seth, and Punk are gonna have a three-way, like I mentioned last week. I definitely saw that coming. I still don't see Seth Rollins winning that match. I feel like Seth Rollins there to connect and kind of bridge everybody together. Yeah, you have Paul Heyman that connects Roman and Punk, but I still feel like Seth is kind of like that middle piece that was missing to connect the three of them. Um, I definitely see that it's going to be Punk or Roman that win this match. I do not see again Seth winning this fight at all. I don't know how it's going to play out, but Punk or Roman are definitely going to win this match, but it's going to be the help with Paul Heyman. I'm for sure Paul Heyman is going to play a big part in this match, whether he screws over Roman. Roman's looking to his wise man and he kind of gives him the fuck you or the I'm with Punk, something to that effect. Or maybe we'll see, him turn on Punk and still owe him that favor and it comes down the line. But that favor, no one knows what that is. Even CM Punk, when he talked tonight, that no one knows what that favor is. We'll see how that plays out. Definitely see him using that favor to his benefit, whether it's in a title fight or a title match or being the number one contender at some point. But I still feel like Paul Heyman's going to play a big role, a big part in this three-way match. Again, don't see Seth winning. Seth's there just to bridge everybody together. Roman or Punk are definitely going to be the ones that take this fight or take this match, I should say. Um, Again, Judgment Day been having their issues, guys. You saw at the beginning of the day when wrestlers were walking in, they're kind of exchanging. It looks like they were arguing with each other at the beginning there. Later on, you see Carlito joke about like, man, everybody's going for the IC title. I might as well put my name in the hat too. And everybody just looked at him like, yeah, all right, man. Yeah, and just rolled their eyes. Pretty much crickets when he said that. Um, they had like the IC title for the women's and men's today. You saw Lyra versus Raquel. They definitely made Raquel look strong here today. Raquel was definitely just like ragdolling Lyra around. I know WWE has high hopes for Lyra. I didn't watch NXT when she was in it, but they definitely got they're behind her. They definitely want to see her be a big champion. Raquel, I don't think, yeah, Raquel hasn't won a singles title yet on the main roster, so it was a good match for them to have. Raquel again was just ragdolling her all over the place, especially when Lyra jumped off the top rope and she just pretty much just stomped her into the ground. That had to hurt. If not, she got whiplash off of that hit because she stomped her 5 feet in the air straight into the ground. Lyra's not a big person, but Raquel is. So that big boot came up and that big boot came down, and she just splat on the mat right there, guys. So that was a crazy bump, crazy move. Lyra got her get back later. Did like a famouser off the top rope or a leg drop off the top rope. Not sure what they were calling it. Um, but that match pretty much, Liv tried to get into it, try to cost Lyra the match. Lyra did end up winning that match. The two girls, Liv and Raquel, start kind of beating her down. Bailey comes down the ramp, kind of helps Lyra out, chases the two girls out. They show them two standing strong. Bailey goes to grab the title, give it to Lyra, and kind of hesitates there. Definitely see Bailey turning heel in the future. He's been kind of doing that ding dong hello when she was a heel. Definitely see that coming back. Bailey does need to win the women's US and the women's IC to be Grand Slam champion again. She was the first one out of the women's to do it. As of right now, she needs those two titles to be complete. I know they just added those titles, so technically she still was the first Grand Slam champion. But with having those two titles under her belt, she'd be the ultimate women's Grand Slam champion with having those two new titles there. Definitely see Bailey turning heel, whether it's going after Chelsea Green with the US title or Lyra here for the IC. Looks like she's going for the IC since they're on the same brand right now on Raw. We'll see how that plays out, but I definitely see Bailey turning heel again. Not sure how much in the future that would be, but I definitely see it happening. LWO versus Chad Gable, or I should say El Grande Americano, really WWE. Couldn't come up with a better name. Got a room full of writers, filled with creative. Couldn't come up with nothing better. Like seriously, sounds like a retired Starbucks drink. You know what I mean? Like, what are y'all doing? And then he's from the Gulf of America. Like, come on, guys. Couldn't come up with nothing better. That didn't make any sense to me. It is what it is. Hopefully, y'all do better in the future. I know that's his name now, so that's what we're gonna use. But El Grande Americano, come on, guys, y'all could have done a lot better. Again, retired Starbucks drinks, in my opinion. That's what it sounds like. Um, the match was okay. You did have a lot of high flying spots. Um, we know it's Chad Gable in the mask, just wearing a little bit different of a uniform or singlet, I should say, with some ruffles or whatever it was by his knee pads or his boots. Um, Suplex City pretty much suplexed him, German suplexed him, ripped his mask off. So he's blocking his mask. It's very disrespectful to take the mask off of a luchador. So he's covering his face, Dragon Lee. He puts an ankle lock on him, just like Chad Gable. We already know the deal, guys. This is Chad Gable. Maybe in the future, we'll find out that the person who was wearing the mask when Chad wasn't was maybe Ray Phoenix. Maybe that's how they're going to introduce Ray Phoenix into WWE. He is supposed to make an appearance in the next few months. So maybe that's how they're going to do it. And then maybe he'll take out Chad and then he'll join his brother and it'll be the Lucha Bros versus American Made. Still, guys, WWE, y'all could have come up with a better name. I know it's supposed to be cheesy. Y'all still could have come up with a better name, in my opinion. So that's just me. I know people probably laughing it up. Y'all could have did better. Y'all could have come up with something better. Like, y'all could have just called them the American Eagle, like something like to that effect. Like, it didn't have to be a Spanish Americano. Like, come on. But that's my thing. That's my take on it. It was a whatever match. I'm kind of tired of seeing the LWO versus the American Made, showing America versus Mexico. Just let's do something else. Hopefully this whole Chad trying to wrestle a luchador or beat the luchadors goes away after a while. Tired of seeing it. I think he's lost to everybody. Yeah, he's coming back with his mask on and beating people, but he's lost to everybody. There's a rumor that I've heard online that it might be like mask versus mask, Ray versus Chad Gable for his mask, because I'm not going to say that other name. I think that was stupid, but that's me. So we'll see how that plays out. Maybe Ray will retire, mask versus retirement. Or maybe they'll just wait for Ray to retire later on. But mask versus mask, from what a lot of people are speculating, to reveal that it's Chad Gable under the mask. But again, we all know it's Chad, guys. Um, Later on in the day, you had Adam Pearce have a couple segments, honestly. You saw Adam Pearce come onto the ring, had the contract in hand, pretty much saying that we can't do this. And just before he goes into his whole speech, you had Io Sky run down and pretty much start complaining to him. Within a few minutes, boom, you had Belair do the same thing, bolt to the ring complaining. And before he got a word out, boom, you had Rhea Ripley come out and pretty much all complaining. They kind of push Io again. Adam Pearce kind of says, "That's it. I'm kind of glad you guys are all here. This is what we're going to do. Io versus Rhea next week. 1-on-1. Winner faces Belair at Mania." Now, I personally said, like I said last week, Belair and Rhea was a better match. I still feel like it's going to turn into a three-way because later on, you had Belair complain like, well, who am I going to wrestle? Well, I told you it's going to be them two next week. The winner wrestles you, but you're going to be calling it down the middle. You're going to be the guest referee. You're going to call it down the middle. And she goes, well, I'm not a referee. Well, you got a week to learn, pretty much. You got a week to learn. I still see that match going a three-way. Something's going to happen with Belair and Rhea. Maybe she's going to cost the girls the match, disqualification, something to that effect, that you'll still see the three girls together. I still feel like Rhea and Belair is the better match, to be honest with you, if it's just one-on-one. But together, I think the three of them was going to be a great triple threat match for the title. I will say you have the opportunity there to Naomi again, cost somebody the match, or maybe you see Belair and Naomi kind of take the girls out, win the title. I personally feel like Io Sky will still pull this off to make her strong, make her look strong. We'll see how, again, that plays out later on. So next week, Rhea Ripley versus Belair. I'm sorry, versus Io to wrestle Belair at WrestleMania. Should be a good match. It was a good match the week before when Rhea lost, or a couple weeks ago when Rhea lost. So can't wait to see that happen again. Maybe she'll get back and win, and then it'll be still feel like it should be a 3-way, but we'll see how that plays out, guys. Um, Later on, New Day's kind of like chirping in Adam Pearce's ear, like, "Hey, man, we deserve a shot. We've been here since for a while now. We deserve a shot for the World Tag Team titles." And Adam Pearce like, "Y'all don't get nothing. Y'all got to earn everything. I don't come in here demanding. You will earn a shot versus the War Raiders next week." So I feel like they're kind of stale being a heel. I know a lot of people are booing them because they did to Big E, but I'm personally not a fan of the New Day right now. But we'll see what happens, guys. Later on you had CM Punk come out. His music hits, everybody's cheering. Pretty much gave a recap of what happened on SmackDown. I will say that you had Punk saying that this is going to be his road to WrestleMania, and Paul Heyman still owes him a favor. We don't know what that favor is. He kept mentioning we don't know what the favor is. I personally feel like in this 3-way match between Roman, Punk, and Seth, Paul Heyman's going to play a big part in this match. Whether he costs the match for Roman and then switches side to Punk, or maybe vice versa. The wise man has to show that he's 100% with Roman by screwing over Punk, and he still owes him the favor later on. Still don't see Seth winning this fight. I think Seth is just there to connect the dots between the two wrestlers. Seth, for the past few weeks, has definitely been or past few months, has just been putting people over. Yes, he's won matches, but for the most part, he's putting people over. Again, Roman or Punk will win this match at WrestleMania. Don't see anybody else winning that match. Be very surprised if it's Seth Rollins, to be honest with you. I'd be super surprised. It's going to be a good match between the three of them since it is a 3-way. Should be no disqualifications, so we'll see how that plays out there. Not sure weapons are going to be introduced or maybe a bunch of run-ins, but we'll see how that works. Another thing is, guys, you had the men's IC title at the end of the day. So it was like IC title day, I guess, the women's title earlier in the night, and then you have the men's. I wanted Penta to go for a singles title. I expected it to be the IC, to be honest with you, because he was on Raw. Didn't expect it to be this early, but they did pull the trigger on that. So Penta versus Braun, and like I said, this match was going to be crazy. It didn't give me what I wanted. I expected a lot more with these two guys. Yeah, they did the Frankensteiner. Penta did his usual flips and everything like that, but I feel like the match was just missing something. Like I don't think they put their all into this match because they knew it was going to be a throwaway match. Dom did tell Penta that he wanted him to join earlier in the night. You see Dom and Carlito kind of make their way to the ring, and you kind of see Penta hear him in Spanish, like, "Yo, like, what you doing, man? Like, why you out here?" type of deal. And he was like, "Yo, just chill out. I'm here for you. I'm here for you." Well, later on, they try to get in there, help Penta out. They actually cost Penta the match. The match is a disqualification. Braun Breaker wins. You later on see Finn Balor get in there, starts attacking them, hands the chair to Dom. They start beating down Braun Breaker. Penta's like, "Yo, man, what you doing?" Defends him. So now they're both beaten down on both of them, Penta and Braun. The Judgment Day looks strong at the end of the day. Big difference from the weeks prior. Yeah, they're still looking like they're going to get into it. I still feel like Finn Balor should break off and go do his own thing. But this week, they showed the Judgment Day strong, standing over two great opponents. Still feel like Penta and Braun should have another match later on. Again, I feel like this was kind of a throwaway match. They didn't give me what I wanted. I hope I can see these two back in the ring and be as explosive and as acrobatic as possible because I really didn't get what I wanted in that match. Hope we see it in the future. We'll see how this plays out, guys. Again, this is Jax from the Popcorn Review Podcast. Thanks for watching.